In today's video, we are going to talk about how to not only survive the upcoming and kind of current recession, but I want to make sure that you are recession proof from now to the rest of your life and the rest of that of your loved ones. So make sure you watch all the way through, because each segment of the video, we talk about different strategies to not only help you thrive in a recession, but to also navigate when our economy expands and shrinks, as it always does. What's up, you guys, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name's Chloe, and I am a multi-billion-dollar business strategist who initially was leading work for investing in communities and quickly realized that if all of us don't step up to these complex challenges, whether it's poverty, inequality, climate change, violence, you name it, if we don't all step up, these challenges are only going to continue to get worse. So I pivoted my career to help you. Now, the kind of leader that I really believe in is a leader that wants to heal themselves from the inside and out, because you have to know peace in order to spread it. It's a leader who wants to build generational wealth to protect their families for years and decades and generations to come, but to do it ethically. And then for those folks who self-actualize and protect their families, to also help their communities have the tools, opportunities, and resources to do the same. So if this sounds like you have found the right community, and I am here to simply be in your corner. So I actually want to start by defining what's going on, because I love making sure we are speaking with the same terms. Now, as many of you have heard, we are currently in a recession, and honestly, the recession is complexifying. You have seen this through social media. You might have seen big tech companies having mass layoffs, seeing Meta, Google, you name it, laying off tens of thousands of employees. Whereas just 6 months ago, those companies couldn't hire teams fast enough. The market was expanding and then it contracted. You also see it in housing. For a good year plus, the housing prices were soaring, right? And it really was a seller's market, in that the housing values were so high and people had high demand. They had better jobs. Our economy was more stable. There was higher economic activity. There's more buying power. So people were able to buy houses, right? Now, with you seeing the economy shrink, economic activity is slowing down. Housing values, as an example or as an indicator of a recession, are starting to level back out to what people have usually expected, right? Or to what seems more normal, if there's any kind of normal. The reason I give you these concrete examples, such as layoffs or housing values changing, is that you can see the imprint or a footprint of a recession if you just look around you. Now, for any of you who are employees or even business owners, you might feel it and see it in your workplace, from your clientele, the ways that your teams operate. Maybe you've seen your company downsize. Maybe you've seen even you decide to make different strategic decisions. And I just want to say that all of that's normal, right? Economies grow and shrink, they contract and expand. That is normal economic activity. Recessions are going to happen. Okay? And this is not something, I'm not saying it to scare you. This absolutely happens. The reason recessions are scary is when people are in unstable circumstances. Whenever anyone, any individual, any family, any community is in a vulnerable financial situation, it means their livelihood's at stake. And when your livelihood is at stake, it makes recessions or economic activity that is shrinking scary. And it's scary because, again, your livelihood depends on a stable economy. Well, in this video, I want to give you a few real strategies to help that not be such a strong, palpable fear. And I want to make sure that, you and your family are protected, you and your loved ones are protected. So after you watch this video, share it with somebody you care about who could also use these tips. Now, the first tip that I really want to focus on is I want you to be informed. I'm sure that if you watch this video, the YouTube algorithm is going to recommend you other videos about recessions or kind of like the sensational fear or the media approach of just bombarding you with scary clickbait titles. And I want you to have enough information to not let those things jump up your heart rate, because it so can. So first, I want you to understand what recessions are, which again is kind of a normal thing in the economy as people get really excited about things and then pull back, right? So it's normal economic behavior. However, it is scary when you are not financially stable. 1. 2, I also want you to be able to read through the fact that sometimes fear and the potential for a recession does not mean there will be one. And on the flip side, just because you see a recession happening, it doesn't mean there isn't a lot of opportunity for you to not only build wealth ethically, protect those around you, but also find new modalities of earning income that you wouldn't have otherwise. Recessions sometimes offer up economic opportunity that would not have been around. Now, I'm not going to talk to you about going and investing in foreclosed homes. That's not the strategies I'm going to talk to you about today in a recession, right? Of course, you are going to have people who talk about investments and how the best time to invest is during a recession because assets might be cheaper. Certainly a strategy, we'll touch on it later in the video, but I want you to know the strategies that I'm focusing on are all rooted within your control. So the first one, as a recap, is to get educated on our economy, what is normal economic behavior, what makes recessions scary in the first place, and how to safeguard yourself. And since you're watching this video, you are already someone I know who's going to do wonderfully at this because you're already doing the work, right? That's important. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is I want you to assess your financial situation. Now, when I talk about your financial situation, there are a few different ways you can look at it, right? What comes to top of my mind when I think about assessing your financial position, it's how much money do you earn? How much money do you spend? How much money do you save or invest? How much money do you see as a potential for you to generate in the coming future? Do your behaviors financially support your goals and your ambitions regardless of the economy? And then, do your economic activities or financial behaviors and beliefs support you and your loved ones during times when the economy will shrink in activity, right? And what I mean by that is when people or employers are laying off people, when customer bases might be shrinking or might be scared to buy because they're uncertain about what the economic conditions are, when you don't know what your cash flow might look like. Do you have enough pieces that are stable to make that not a precarious situation for you? Now, I want to be sensitive here in assessing your financial situation because some of you, like me, might be first gen to building wealth. When I say first gen to building wealth, it's not that your ancestors or my ancestors didn't work hard. It's not what I mean. When I talk about building wealth, I'm saying that we are the first generation not born during segregation, right? Or when now we have it such that we are technically free and equal, whatever. The point that I'm making is that there are less legal barriers to many of our communities building wealth for the first time. And so if this conversation is scary to you, if you feel like you have come from communities where poverty is rampant and conversations about money trigger something, take a breath. You are doing exactly what you need to do. You are learning. And when you assess your position, if you feel things like that start to come up, you feel your heart rate go up a little bit, you get a little scared, it's okay. I think sometimes people talk about money, or you hear financial advisors giving opinions on wealth and what you do in a recession, etc., and forget that this is a personal conversation, right? Money conversations are intimate conversations because they're so directly correlated with your livelihood, with what you have access to, with what opportunities are on your horizon. So 1, it's okay. And 2, I want you to know you have more power than you're using. You absolutely have more control in these situations than anyone tells you. Now, the reason I think there's such a mismatch between how so many of us perceive what our options are during economic hardship is because our school systems, and y'all don't get me on my soapbox about education because I'll go there, but just TLDR, our school systems were designed to support the manufacturing needs of World War II, right? The big industrial boom. They had school systems shifted to design their curriculum so that people could work in factories for long periods of time and do pretty monotonous routine work. With the technological boom, the internet, the creator economy, the knowledge economy, and now AI, our education systems have not caught up to teach the general public the skills, equitably so, the skills of critical thinking, of creative application of your skills, of the entrepreneurial mindset, and some kind of tolerance for risking maybe for certain financial comforts for you monetizing your expertise. What I mean is, we have been so conditioned to just get a job, stay there, be there forever until you retire, because those were truly wartime needs, right? Our education system has not caught up. So if you feel like you have less power or not enough power to figure out how to manage in a recession, you are who I'm making this video for. I want you to know you have the skills, and if you don't have the skills you want, we're about to build the skills you want and need to have power even when the economy shrinks. And this leads me to my next tip. Oh, wait. Y'all, before I jump, when you assess your financial position, ask yourself those questions. I almost tell y'all what to do. Ask yourself those questions and then make a plan. I want you to reflect on, okay, here's where my position says I am. Figure out the insights. If you say, okay, my behaviors do not support me making it through the recession with ease, no problem. It's awesome you have that insight and we're gonna do something about it, right? Or let's say you look at your financial position and you're like, yeah, no, I'll be good. Then I want you to start thinking bigger. I want you to start thinking about how you can use the resources you have, not just to be good, but to thrive or to help your loved ones or community thrive. So from here, now I'll jump to the next piece. The reason I hesitate, y'all, is because I really want to talk about why it's important for you to support your community or your loved ones. Really want to get into the work of collective prosperity, but I don't want this video to be 2 hours, which I know it could be. So if you want a video on why it's important you support your community, and as a spoiler, it's not just so that you feel good or feel like you're a good person, let me know in the comments and I'll make that video. So, okay, that appeases my brain. So once you've assessed your position, then I want you to make a strategy for how you are going to better make sure your financial behaviors meet your goals. And then once you say, okay, here's a strategy, and I know that I need to increase my income. Let's just go with this one, because honestly, y'all, this is my favorite tip. Let's say you want to increase how much money you bring in. Then your job is going to be to proactively manage your wealth. And this is tip number 3, right? I want you to understand that you need to be in charge of creating your own wealth. It is not your employer's job to make you wealthy, no matter how much we wish it were, right? And even believing that it is your employer's responsibility to make you wealthy just harkens back to the kind of broken school systems we have, that authority is supposed to just hand you everything you need. That's not how our economy plays out, right? Your employer's job, hopefully, is to create a culture in which you can be healthy and to pay you whatever they believe is fair, should at least be a living wage, or you should leave, right? But their job isn't to make you as wealthy as possible. That's your job. So with that, I want you to consider other ways you can bring in revenue. And y'all, as a spoiler, and I can already hear some objections. You're like, I don't know how I can do it. You have expertise that people need. You have a story that could inspire someone to transform their life. You have made it through things, even if you've never told anyone, that would inspire someone else to keep going, right? You have beautiful contributions you can make to this world, to the people around you, to our collective, to our economy. And in return, in exchange for your time and energy, which are your most precious resources, of course you should be compensated. Y'all, I deeply believe in people having side hustles, people being consultants, people being coaches, right? or making the leap to work for yourself, right? To be the boss. And a framework I like to use with my students, I tell everybody, you're already a CEO. You are the CEO of, insert your name here, Inc., right? You are the person in charge of how much revenue you bring in. If you work at a job, that is one source of income. You can have multiple sources of income even while working at a 9-to-5, right? So just know that you have to take control of how much income you bring in. And then the more like intermediate level skilling is looking at that income and figure out how do you make it compound and make the benefits of bringing in that additional revenue compound into making it easier to meet your goals and protect those around you, right? So this is going to lead me to my fourth and final tip for this video. And y'all, we're almost to the end. And for watching, I have a free gift for you, which I'll get to after this tip. But the last tip that I want to give you is that, especially during a recession, you need to invest. And now earlier in the video, I said that I wasn't going to talk about, buying assets that are now have a lower valuation because the valuation will get back to a higher place. That's not what I mean. I want you to invest in your education. Y'all, whenever there is a recession and you're thinking about how can I help protect myself in the recession, and when the recession is not actively present, you have to invest in yourself. You have to invest in the tools and skills that are going to help you grow, because just like you've seen inflation go crazy, the value that people want to see out of their products, out of talent, out of people keeps increasing. So your value as someone who offers something, as someone who makes something, as someone who provides a service needs to continually increase to simply just meet inflation, first of all, but also so that you can start making more money and building wealth, so that no matter the growth or shrinkage of the economy, you and your loved ones and hopefully your community are safe and stable. So the best way to do this, in my opinion, is take classes, really hire a coach, read books. There's so much access to information, y'all. And especially with the rise of AI, you guys, ChatGPT, has completely upended how we are going to see work from now and through the future. And y'all, honestly, that one's such a big topic that I will make a video for you. So make sure you're subscribed so when I do drop that video, you have access to it. But the ways that we have predicted work are going to look completely topsy-turvy. I mean, and you can even see it from how the pandemic shaped out, right? What jobs we thought were critical or were maybe not so critical, which y'all, that was not my belief. But publicly, a lot of people's opinions on work changed, right? With the new introduction of AI tools, with the ways that our economy grows and shrinks, and just all of the unpredictable variables, there's a lot that's changing. And you have the power to thrive through all of it. So I hope this video was helpful to you. You guys, I show up on the internet because I really, really believe in you. And we need more leaders who actually get it, who know what it's like to not just see a problem, but to have lived through the problem, right? And to have the heart to do something about it in a way that's actually real and sustainable. So because of that, I have written a book, which I'm excited about. I wrote a book and it's totally free. It will always be free, and it's a strategy guide that I'm linking for you down below. This is going to help you not only step into your leadership, but heal yourself from the inside out, because you deserve to enjoy this one beautiful life. To build wealth ethically, because I don't care how much progress you make, if you make your progress through exploitation, we haven't really made it. And then how to lead impact without harming your community, because again, if you got the bag but everybody around you suffering, your success is only so short-lived and you're gonna miss the fulfillment possible in life. So check that out. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And with that, I will see you in the next video.